Hello, my friends. I'm jumping in here quickly to shed a bit of light on how movement can support us in our healing, and not the obvious ways either. So we know that movement increases endorphins, cardiovascular health is improved. We know that our respiratory system is improved by activating our breath and moving the body. But did you know that moving the body or placing the body in certain shapes for extended periods of time, and or activating certain muscle groups for certain periods of time, can stimulate the emotional healing process? Did you know that? It's pretty incredible. My first experience with this was probably around maybe 10 years ago now. I had been practicing yoga and dancing. Like, I started dancing when I was 3 and I competed around the world, and dancing was always just such an incredible expression of my truth. It was a beautiful way for me to, at times, escape my reality, because it just transported me into a completely different realm. And I started practicing yoga, truth be told, because I thought that yoga was going to help me and my flexibility. So I thought that the practice of yoga was to lengthen my muscles and to strengthen them. And I remember my first yoga class, and there was a woman next to me just breathing really heavily, which I now know is Ujjayi breath. But back then I had no idea what it was. And gosh, did she annoy me. Oh my gosh, it was so annoying. So this is my first yoga class that I ever took, was in a gym. And then I jump cut from that class to many, many classes later. And by this stage, I was teaching yoga. 10 years after my first yoga class, I was teaching. I think so. Was I? Yeah. Yeah, I just started teaching. I had just started teaching. And I was teaching a yin class, which yin yoga is the yoga that is more about the connective tissue and the fascia in the body. So not so much about the muscles, but more about stretching into the ligaments and the connective tissue of the body. Anywho, so I'm in this class and I'm teaching a class, and this particular class was all about anger, frustration, and resentment, okay? And I'd read the literature about this, and so I knew that it was possible from a theoretical point of view, but I had never really experienced anything physically myself. So bearing in mind, I practiced the sequence before I went and taught it, because that was always my process. I always practice something first before I go out and teach it, right? It's just how it is. And by the time I had gotten to the class, I was teaching my second yin class of the day. So it was my third practice for the day. I practiced it in the morning, taught it in the afternoon, and then taught it in the evening. And I had this incredible reaction in my body. Something that was really, really, really profound. I had this surge of anger, which I kind of, not that I expected it, but I had this experience of anger, and I just put it down to the fact that it was part of my yin practice, right? But that evening when I got home at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and was violently ill, like very, very, very sick. I couldn't keep anything down. And that probably lasted without stopping till about 5 a.m. I still remember it really clearly because I had to get up at that time to go and teach a class at 6 that morning. And I was frantically ringing the studio owner to tell her that I just couldn't be there for that 6 o'clock class. It was just never going to happen. I was so ill. And a day later, I was fine. I was dehydrated, but I was fine. And it wasn't food poisoning, and there was no other explanation other than the fact that what was ready to be released out of my body was released. Yeah. I had the feelings of anger and frustration, and when I recognized that I was having those feelings, I recognized them and connected the dots between having done the yin practice and the feelings coming up. I witnessed them, I saw them, I acknowledged them. I feel like it was that moment of me being the witness of my emotions through my body and then of course recognizing what I was angry about, of course, yes, that it was all released. Yeah, I had the most incredible release. At the time, it didn't feel incredible, but I just remember feeling so clean and clear, and yeah, it was as if I was lighter. And that's not to say I don't ever feel angry again, but I remember the heaviness of anger and the bitterness that I was carrying around with me. And upon reflection, over 3 or 4 weeks after that event, I noticed the difference in the way that I lived my life. I was just not burdened. I felt like I wasn't burdened anymore. I wasn't carrying around the baggage of anger and resentment. So this led me on a path to experiment a little bit more with the practice of yin, and also the practice of yang yoga as well, in a way that could stimulate the muscles in the body. So here's the theory. When we have an emotion, if we are not in a position where we are either strong enough or courageous enough, or maybe we don't even have the tools, we don't know what we're doing to express that emotion, what naturally happens if you don't express the emotion is that you suppress the emotion. And it has to go somewhere, because an emotion is a chemical reaction in the body, right? You have it up here, and then it makes its way into the body. And if you're not expressing it and allowing it to come out of the body through crying or expressing yourself verbally or moving the body in an emotional state, then it suppresses itself and lodges itself in the body. And the longer you allow this emotion to live in your body, the more dis-ease or disease you're going to feel. And the idea with these theories that I was playing around with was, okay, how can I access an emotion within my body, and how can I learn how to release it through body work, through a really rigorous, strong yoga practice perhaps, or a slow, intentional yin practice perhaps, or maybe a breath work practice. So that then took me down another rabbit hole. And most recently, let's say I started working with essential oils in this way, maybe 5 years ago now, 5-6 years ago, applying essential oils to the energy body, on the physical body, the energy body, to help with that release. So guys, this is how Aroma Energetics was created, because after years and years of guinea pigging myself, as I always do, I feel like I have some really cool little protocols and formulas to help us with these various stagnations, these lodgements of emotional debris. Yeah, either the lodgement of the emotion or the emotional debris that is stuck in the body. Yeah. I heard this quote a while back called, I'm probably going to bastardize it here, but it's something like the issues are in your tissues. If you don't allow the issues from here to be expressed out and to have a healthy, expressive format, then they're going to land up in your tissues. And they're going to have an impact on your life. And the thing is that the longer you the longer you live with those heavy feelings, the less you notice them. Until one day you have a release and you look back and you think, I feel lighter. Or, I don't worry about that thing that I used to worry about as much. You know? Dr. Edward Bach, the guy who invented Bach flower remedies, he wrote in some of his books that the origin of all disease is emotional. The origin of all disease is emotional. Wouldn't it be nice if we could learn how to move the body and support the body to live an emotionally harmonious life, so as not to experience the dis-ease in our bodies later on in life? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. I think I'm partially, if not, I say partially because I know that there's a lot more to do and a lot more to learn. Gosh, it's ever unfolding, and its body of work is constantly expanding. And so, yeah, I'll say that I'm partially there, because I know there's so much more to learn from this practice and these protocols. But this is an invitation for you to come and learn this with me, to experience the incredible ability of healing oneself from unnecessary pain that we've lodged or we've allowed to lodge in the body. I'll drop a link down below. Please join us. We commence on the 26th of July. And there's a live component to this program, this immersion, in that we will meet weekly to talk about your experiences, so that you have someone with you as you go through the process. There is a sacred container that will be held for you as you spill and release and let go of that which is no longer necessary for you to hold on to. All right, my loves. Bye for now.